You're sitting there thinking, Hilary, I'm watching all of your important content. YouTube is feeding me the videos that I most need to see before I go into labor. But as I sit down with my YouTube metrics, there are some videos that are so important that get literally no views, which absolutely breaks my heart. These are videos that are super important for you to know before you go into labor at the hospital. I would call them the unsexy parts of labor and delivery because it's not going to make you want to click, but it is information that would make people so much happier with their births if they had it. And one of those things is doing a birth plan the right way. You're not trying to control your birth, you're trying to be confident and just know what you would prefer. I actually have a whole birth plan series that sort of does it in the very unsexy way, but is really preparing you appropriately to make choices when you go into the hospital. I'm going to link that free series down below. And yes, these are the videos that Hilary, who's been a nurse since 1997, has 20 years of labor and delivery experience, thinks are really important, but you probably have not watched. So let's dive into them.
Announcement. The pregnancy nurse is a nurse, but not your nurse. This is informational, not medical advice. Thank you.
The first and most important one is I did a whole series on the different choices that you might come across when you're in labor and delivery. They include admission and induction, epidurals. There's all these different choices that you can make in labor and delivery. And honestly, I think that's why a lot of people pick a doula. They are good at helping you know the different choices that you want. And as staff, we're not in there telling you all of the different choices that you could pick. Usually we're just handing you a labor and delivery gown. We're not going to say, or you could wear whatever you want, or you could be completely naked, or I've got a sheet here for you, right? There are so many different choices. Labor is like a choose your own adventure book, but you don't always know the choices ahead of time. So I have a whole choices series. I'm going to link it down below because I think you guys are going to find it really helpful just to know those different choices, even though it's not popular. Super helpful. And you're only going to find those from a real expert. So good videos to watch from me, the pregnancy nurse. The next one is how to know if you are ready to be induced, because I think the biggest thing with an induction is a lot of people don't know how their body's readiness really translates into the induction that they are going to have. And fun facts, you might even be able to delay your induction a little bit until your body is a little bit more ready. I have a whole video on how to know if you're ready to be induced. I'm going to link it down below. It's not sexy, but important. And if you're sitting there thinking, Hilary, I'm not getting induced, I'm here to tell you that so many people end up getting surprised that they're getting induced. That video is going to be ready and waiting for you, whether you want to watch it now or whether you're considering an induction a little further down the road. Now, I talked about the series where I tell the different choices, but I have a whole video on making choices in labor and delivery. So many people want a control birth, right? You're 20 weeks and you're going to say, I am not getting an epidural. But the reality is you need to learn to make the best choice for you when you're in the situation. I have a whole video on making choices in labor and delivery. It does not get a lot of views, but I think it is extremely helpful as it is the thing that most people really struggle with in labor and delivery. Again, all these videos are going to be linked down below. Don't miss them. Now, the one nobody wants to think about is how they might heal after they have a tear, or honestly, just getting prepared for how their body is going to be postpartum. Now, I am with you. I don't want to think at all about my body tearing in that area, but the chance of it tearing is not small when you have your first baby, especially. So I have a whole video on healing from a postpartum tear. Again, does not do well on the YouTubes, but super important. Gonna link it down below. Now, one of my soapbox things doesn't do well on this platform at all. People, again, don't want to think about it, and it is stillbirth. So kick counts have been shown to decrease stillbirths by 1/3. So that means 33% of stillbirths could be saved if they did kick counts appropriately. Now, nobody wants to think about stillbirth. I'm 100% with you there, but this is something that has been shown to actually help with it. I have a whole video on how to do kick counts, and then there's a playlist on all of my different videos about kick counts. It's a real soapbox moment of mine because I think it's something that we can easily do, but it's also really easy to avoid as well and think that it won't matter. But the data shows that it really could matter. So again, I'm going to link that down below. Right now, we're going to talk about the queen of unsexy birth, and that is preparing for a C-section. Studies have shown that about 1/3 of people end up having a C-section. And if you're saying, Hilary, I picked a provider that has a really low C-section rate, that rate is still probably 10 to 20%, which is still a good number of people who end up having a C-section. That's just how birth works. Some people end up having a C-section. And I think it's really important to do a little bit of preparation in the land of C-sections. Now, I'm not here to say you need to know how to do a C-section. I'm just telling you like a little bit about what to expect, both of the C-section and of recovery. And I have a whole video on how to prepare for a C-section, and it's a video that everyone should be watching, not just people who are planning on a C-section. And I've got to tell you, I offer a birth class that includes a C-section chapter, and it is the lowest watch video of all of the different ones because so many people are thinking, I don't need a C-section. I'm just going to skip that chapter. And I don't know if they're thinking that ignorance is bliss. You know, if I don't think about it, it won't happen, or ostrich head in the sand. But I'm here to tell you that people aren't super happy with their births in the United States a lot of the times, and it's because they're not prepared. C-sections are something that you can prepare for. They're pretty much the same across the board, and it doesn't take a lot of time to prepare for them, but it can be really helpful if you end up having a C-section. So check that video out. And if you're wanting more information about C-sections, inductions, episiotomies, forceps, make sure that you're taking a birth class that covers all of that. I'm going to link the one that I recommend down below. The next one that gets no views, although people talk about it on social media, and it is wired versus wireless monitoring or intermittent auscultation. Now, how you are monitored in labor can really affect how your labor goes, but a lot of people don't know the different options. You know, sometimes your hospital only has wired monitoring, but there's things that you can do to really tailor that to your birth. I have videos on all of those different topics. Again, these are things that it's really important to learn from an expert about how these different situations can apply to your birth at your specific hospital. So make sure that you're learning about these from someone like that, not one doula who has only ever delivered at one hospital, because these really vary in different hospitals around the United States for sure. Now, I have a whole induction series that is the ugly stepsister of my channel. It talks about how to make the choice about an induction and gives you more information about an induction. I think it is so helpful, and it is old and does not get very many views. So if you're considering an induction, even if your provider says you might want to consider an induction, I think it is such an important video to watch, to learn how to make that choice, to learn what to expect from your induction. Similar to a C-section, a lot of people just want to ignore inductions, but you again can get prepared really quickly for an induction. And I'll link the beginning video of that series down below. Now, I'm also here to tell you that it is not sexy to think about taking a birth class. None of us want to sit and watch videos about birth. What we do want is to feel prepared, to feel confident, to feel like we're gonna have a positive birth experience. That's what you ultimately want from it. So I have a birth class that I recommend that is short. We're not talking the 8-hour marathon birth class or that 10-hour Saturday class that some hospitals offer. Oh, I feel like that's torture. It comes in starting at just $89, so it's not going to break the bank, and it can be done on your couch. You know, you can slot in those 20-minute birth bites whenever you want. I'm going to link that down below because I understand that you're like, I don't want to sit through a birth class, because I get it. There's a lot of things I don't want to sit through too, but this class is really tailored to make it as quick and as comfortable as possible. I'll link it down below. It's called the Online Prenatal Class for Couples. It is guaranteed to help you feel more prepared for your upcoming birth. And if you're sitting here thinking, Hilary, I'm just going to watch your YouTube videos, I get that. I would guess that 75% of what I cover in the Online Prenatal Class for Couples is covered somewhere in all of my hundreds of videos on YouTube. But you got to know that you are going to see a lot of repeats. There's a lot of things that I talk about really frequently, and you're going to get that information over and over and over. It's going to come with a lot of ads, unless you got YouTube Premium. Either if that's your case and you want to waste your time to do that, come join me here on the YouTube. But the worst part is it is very unlikely that your partner is going to watch all of these videos with you, and you're leaving them behind, and you want them to be a part of your team. That is why a birth class where both of you can get prepared is so important, especially one that is tailored to both of you. Now, I'm going to link that one. That's a great starter about the different choices as you go into labor and delivery. But my question here for you is, what are you ignoring? That's the unsexy part of birth. Tell me down in the comments. Thanks for joining us here on The Pregnancy Nurse, where we get you prepared, not scared, for your upcoming hospital birth.